Part 34. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, Mozuzi. Chapter 332. A powerful ghost energy swept the entire mansion in an instant. For a moment, countless ghosts in the mansion showed incredible astonishment. Even the souls were trembling in fear. The power of the Emperor. He was the Emperor in his lifetime, and after his death, Qin Heng's power did not decline much. Because of this, he was able to become the city lord of Luji city and act tyrannically here. Because of this, all the ghosts in the city were in awe and fear of him. Even if he didn't make a move, the might of the Emperor was chilling to the bone, making these ghosts feel like they were falling into an ice cave. What happened to the young lady? The city lord was so angry. I don't know, hurry up and hide away. If we are affected, the city lord may turn us into ashes with just a look. The ghosts in the mansion were terrified and hid in the distance in fear, not daring to approach at all. And in the sky, the soul wearing armor and majestic also floated over. The imperial power was so great that it was not even inferior to that of the great emperor. Qin Heng's eyes were filled with incomparable anger. Because he clearly felt two strong spiritual energies. He never thought that the husband his daughter brought into the mansion would be a living being in disguise. What did you say just now? He stared at the terrified maid below. The young lady was killed. The young lady was killed by these two people. The maid was so scared that her soul trembled and pointed in the direction of Nai Chen and Chu Qingyu. Qin Heng was stunned at first, but soon found that he could no longer feel Qin Zishan's breath, and only a trace of the remaining feeling of a broken soul remained. Killed. At this moment, Qin Heng's expression was completely frozen. For so many years, even though Qin Zishan was an extremely yin body that needed to constantly absorb souls, he had been able to keep his daughter safe. I thought that the husband he brought into the mansion this time would provide Qin Zishan with a long-term drug addict. But he never thought that his daughter would be killed because of this decision. Asshole. Whether in life or after death, when has Qin Heng, a powerful emperor, ever suffered such a setback? At this moment, he was completely furious. Little girl, don't think I don't know your identity. You are a rising star in Lanchuan continent, known as the Qingyu Queen, in charge of Tianyun Palace, and intimidating all directions. But now, your strength and body have returned to your childhood. What else can you use to compete with me? Could it be that it is this ridiculous junior who is only at the Bahai realm? Today, I will tear you all apart. The roar was filled with the power of the Emperor and the extremely strong ghost energy. The whole sky seemed to be swallowed by this rich ghost energy. The majesty and the ghost energy wrapped in the Emperor's power spread in all directions. Not only in the mansion, but even countless ghosts in Luji city looked up at the sky, all revealing a trace of astonishment in their expressions. In this overly strong sense of oppression, countless ghosts could not help but tremble in their souls and hurriedly hid far away. The city lord is actually angry. I have almost never seen the city lord so angry. Who angered him? Isn't it certain that the person who angered the city lord will die? Looking at the sky, the ghosts in Luji city were all terrified and terrified. It is hard to imagine how miserable the end would be for someone who could anger the city lord Qin Heng to such an extent. Qingyu can't do it for the time being, but there are others to protect her. Looking at Qin Heng, who was constantly emitting the power of the emperor in the air, Nai Chen smiled slightly and blocked in front of Chu Qingyu's petite body. Although his body is dead, he was a great emperor in his lifetime. Don't be stubborn. Chu Qingyu looked at Nai Chen with a little worry. But this seemingly extremely strong move of standing in front of her made her feel as if her heartbeat had accelerated. As a great emperor, she had always stood in front of all living beings. When had anyone stood up to protect her? But Nai Chen's back was like an unshakable mountain at this moment, giving people a sense of security, warmth, and incomparable trust. For a moment, Chu Qingyu actually stopped her movements and looked at the back with a slightly infatuated look. There seemed to be a flash of light in her clear eyes. Just you? Don't you think that my physical body is dead and my strength is not as good as before? A mere junior in the sea-breaking realm, I can turn you into ashes with a wave of my hand. Dare to attack my daughter, you will all die here today. Qin Heng's anger and murderous intent could no longer be concealed. In his eyes, Nai Chen's behavior seemed to be despising himself. No matter what, Qin Heng planned to use the most ruthless means to wipe him out here. Endless ghost energy suddenly burst out, and Qin Heng's soul was not only filled with extremely strong ghost energy. The wind howled, and it seemed that there were endless ghosts in it. He was a great emperor in his lifetime, but after his death, he practiced with the method of ghost cultivation. It is precisely because of this that Qin Heng's strength has not declined but improved. After becoming a ghost, he was able to dominate the underworld, and his strength was even greater than before he was alive. Dare to kill my daughter, pay with your life. Not only will I make you disappear into ashes, but before that, I will also let you endure the pain of countless whippings of your soul. Qin Heng's eyes were bloodshot and he was furious. Suddenly, the yin energy that swept around him expanded countless times. Like a beast descending from the mountain, the yin wind howled and rolled downward. And in this yin wind, there seemed to be thousands of evil spirits emerging. The death of those evil spirits seemed extremely miserable. In the yin wind, they wailed, cried, and rushed downward continuously. They opened their blood-red mouths and completely locked Nai Chen and Chu Qingyu. It seemed that they wanted to swallow them into their stomachs and turn them into food. Give me, die. Qin Heng's mouth was actually filled with a hint of crazy laughter, and the ghost energy on his body continued to gather into the yin wind and the bodies of those ghosts. It seemed that he was burning with his own power, infinitely expanding the terrifying scene of hundreds of ghosts at night. The cold and terrifying yin wind almost filled the entire sky, and the miserable wailing of those ghosts echoed in Luji City. The city lord actually used such a terrifying force. 100 ghosts parade at night. So far, no ghost has survived when the city lord used the ghost soldiers. For a moment, countless ghosts were shocked and their faces were full of fear. For a long time, countless ghosts have been dissatisfied with Qin Heng. But because of Qin Heng's terrifying strength, no ghost dared to stand up and oppose. And at this moment, countless ghosts looked at Nai Chen in shock as the ghost soldiers swept over. But they found that Nai Chen seemed fearless. Shock, the love letter was sent to the empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 333. Young man, do you think your ridiculous power can compete with me? Looking at Nai Chen's expression as if he didn't take him seriously at all, Qin Heng shouted angrily. The ghost soldiers came in an endless stream, and their number was also increasing at a terrifying speed. There might seem to be enough to destroy the city and shake the mountain, and they wanted to vent all their anger on Nai Chen. However, Nai Chen, who was blocking Chu Qingyu, also took action at this time. Ghost cultivator? They are already dead, but they are still restless and sucking souls for your twisted daughter. In this case, I will send you on your way. Facing the countless ghosts that were overwhelming, Nai Chen just stared at the sky indifferently. Thousands of meters, hundreds of meters, watching, the ghosts that were surging like waves were about to completely cover him. At this moment, a trace of cold killing intent suddenly appeared in Nai Chen's eyes. Then, hot lines instantly spread on his arms. The lines like the golden dragon totem slowly surged on his arms, emitting blazing heat and an extremely mysterious aura. It seemed to come from the ancient times, with endless mysteries. Its majestic power seemed to be no less than that of the great emperor. The golden light filled the sky, and as the lines on his arms spread, a huge golden Dharma image suddenly appeared behind Nai Chen. As if floating with the lingering Buddhist sound, the golden Dharma image stood there like a mountain. Sacred and majestic, but exuding a chilling murderous intent. The golden Dharma image's giant palm was facing the sky, sweeping across the tens of millions of ghosts surging in the air like a mountain. Its power was enough to crush any saint emperor. Boom! The Dharma image slapped the air with one palm, and the steps of countless ghosts were actually stopped for a moment. But soon, even though the Dharma image's palm burst out with unparalleled power, it gradually couldn't resist the ghosts that surged in, as if there was no end. Those ghosts rushed forward without regard for their lives. Even though the palm of the Dharma image contained a great killing intent that could make their souls melt and annihilate, these ghosts did not retreat at all. They actually fell on the huge palm of the Dharma image and kept gnawing at the body of the Dharma image with their cold teeth. Haha, no matter how solid your foundation in the sea-breaking realm is, the gap between you and the great emperor is almost insurmountable. Today, none of you can escape, all of you should be sacrificed to my daughter. Qin Hung laughed bitterly. It seemed to be mixed with hatred and ridicule at the same time. His only goal at this moment was to completely kill Nai Chen and Chu Qingyu here. Eat their flesh and blood, drink their blood essence, and avenge his daughter. Although the strength shown by Nai Chen far exceeded that of ordinary sea-breaking realm cultivators, it did not make him feel afraid at all. But at this moment, Nai Chen calmly stared at the golden Dharma image that he had transformed into. Golden sun fills the sky. As Nai Chen casually formed a seal in the air. In an instant, a virtual image of a large seal flew into the Dharma image. After merging into the Dharma image, the spiritual power of the large seal quickly spread, turning into strands of spiritual energy, permeating the Dharma image. In the air, there seemed to be a faint fragrance floating around. And when the large seal completely melted, there was no sign at all, and the light of the Dharma image suddenly surged. The dazzling golden light not only illuminated the entire mansion, but even half of Luji city. Even the dark blue, the color unique to the sky of the underworld, was almost dyed with golden light. More importantly, the spiritual power mixed in this golden light is not only extremely majestic, but also extremely sacred and inviolable. Golden sun fills the sky. Even the rewards for taking advantage of the Empress are extremely amazing, not to mention the system rewards for bullying Chu Qingyu until she cries. The effect of the golden sun filling the sky not only greatly enhances the power that the Dharma image can burst out. More importantly, the majestic yang energy has the restraint of all evil ghosts from the source. In the golden light filling the sky, all ghosts retreated and dissipated, fearful. The rich and extremely pure yang energy is what ghosts fear the most. As the ghost soldiers controlled by Qin Hung, they are weaker than ordinary ghosts and can only exist in the darkest corners. But when the golden sun fills the sky, it is like the rising sun in the sky, and the scorching yang energy makes these ghosts fear and terrified. Those ghost soldiers who were crying and screaming and wanted to tear Nai Chen to pieces are now completely engulfed by fear. The endless and majestic yang energy makes them feel only fear. Even the souls that had been tempered by countless yin qi were melting and annihilating at a speed visible to the naked eye. At this moment, these yin soldiers were no longer under Qin Hung's control. Eight screamed and wailed in pain, trying his best to escape far away. But they soon found that the golden light almost covered the entire sky, and no matter how they tried to escape, they could not escape its range. Nai Chen slapped down with one palm. The golden Dharma image also moved with it, carrying a majestic power, and the holy golden light covered the sky and the sun, crushing over. Don't roar. The yin soldiers felt the fear deep in their souls. They no longer obeyed Qin Hung's orders, but just tried their best to escape. But no matter what, they could not get rid of the golden light. Where the light passed, countless ghosts were instantly wiped out. How is it possible? What on earth is this Dharma? It is clearly only a Dharma of the sea-breaking realm. Why can it burst out with such terrifying power? Looking at the scene in front of him, Qin Hung was completely stunned. He actually found that the yin qi he summoned had begun to retreat step by step. The holy light seemed to have the most fundamental restraint, and all the ghosts in front of it would eventually be swallowed up and annihilated. Even he himself began to be unable to compete with it. Impossible, impossible. Qin Hung was stunned and tried his best to resist. But he found that the power he could emit. Under restraint, he was almost completely crushed by the golden light with overwhelming power. And the moment the Dharma's giant palm covered him, the extremely hot breath made Qin Hung feel an infinite sense of oppression. He had no doubt that if he was really swallowed by it, even he would be annihilated. At this moment, Qin Hung finally felt terrified. No, we have no grudges, and those ghosts have nothing to do with you. Let me go, you have no reason to kill me, I can give you countless benefits in this underworld. Surrounded by golden light from all directions, the solemn killing intent has completely engulfed Qin Hung. He actually ignored his dignity and begged in fear. No grudges, of course there is a grudge. And this grudge is enough for you to die 100 times. However, Nai Chen smiled coldly. What, grudge? Qin Hung opened his eyes wide in shock and horror. Bullying my wife. As the voice fell, the overwhelming sacred golden light suddenly became more dazzling and suddenly soared. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 334. Holiness, Majesty. The power contained in this golden light is even more terrifying than before. At this moment, even all the ghosts in the entire Luji city are attracted by it. All of them opened their eyes wide in shock. Unbelievable. How powerful is this person to be able to burst out such power? More importantly, in this sky-filled light, they actually felt the majestic anger at the same time. It was overwhelming and surging. Begging hard, but there was no effect at all. Bullying my wife. Qin Hung never thought that Nai Chen would respond with this reason. The sacred feeling contained in the golden light seemed to be enough to melt and annihilate any ghost. The gloomy ghost energy had already been swallowed up. At this moment, Qin Hung's soul was completely exposed to the light of the golden Dharma. Fear almost completely eroded his mind. When the golden light enveloped him, it was like being swallowed into the huge mouth of a ferocious beast. Endless pain swept from all directions. Qin Hung opened his eyes wide in horror, but found that he could no longer resist or escape. He could only watch his soul being melted and swallowed. No. He was a great emperor in his lifetime, and even after his death, he ruled Luji city for hundreds of years. Qin Hung never thought that he would die here. Moreover, he would be so powerless that there was no room for resistance at all. Despair surged from all directions, but he could not break free no matter what. He could only watch his soul being eaten away and annihilated bit by bit in boundless fear. The wailing sound echoed in the air. But soon, with the last horrified voice falling, Qin Hung was completely swallowed by the golden light, and his soul was completely annihilated. The city lord is dead. At this moment, the eyes of countless ghosts were almost all attracted by the scene in the air. They never thought that Qin Hung was actually annihilated. Who is it? Watching Qin Hung's soul scatter in the horrible scene, the ghosts in Luji city couldn't help but feel ecstatic in their hearts in astonishment. Looking at each other, they shouted excitedly. The city lord is really dead. The whole Luji city has long been resentful of Qin Hung and his daughter. Not only did he bully the ghosts in the city with his strength as a great emperor in his lifetime. Over the years, he secretly captured countless souls for his daughter to absorb for Qin Hung. Even if he hid the matter well, it was difficult to completely block the news, making the ghosts in the city feel uneasy. After all, no one knows whether they will become the next unlucky person, and no one knows when they may be swallowed. If it weren't for being completely unable to compete with Qin Hung, I'm afraid some ghosts would have risen up to resist. They didn't expect that after so many years of trembling in fear, someone could actually destroy Qin Hung. And it seems to be a creature from Lanchuan continent. Who is it? For a moment, many ghosts in the city rushed to the city lord's mansion with excitement and curiosity. And the ghost soldiers under Qin Hung also put down their weapons at this moment, and it was impossible for them to fight for him anymore. The city lord's mansion was wide open, and the ghosts who came to watch finally saw the scene clearly. They also saw the figures of Nai Chen and Chu Qingyu. They didn't expect that the disasters in Luji City for many years were solved by the creatures from Lanchuan continent. Thank you, benefactor, for helping us eliminate the city lord Qin Hung. I don't know who bowed first, but the ghosts bowed their heads in awe. They have been looking forward to this moment for too long, and they all feel a little grateful in their hearts. At this moment, not only the ghosts from all directions in Luji City, but even the ghost soldiers in the city lord's mansion couldn't help but bow their heads respectfully. Didn't that young man drink tea in my shop just now? Outside the city lord's mansion, seeing Nai Chen's figure, the tea house owner who came was stunned. Until now, he recalled the seemingly strange things Nai Chen had done. He had no ghost money, seemed to be unaware of the situation in the underworld, and finally, he even sneaked into Miss Jean's team of selecting a son-in-law. So, he was actually a living being. The tea house owner's eyes were dull for a moment, obviously stunned. But facing the direction of Nai Chen, he finally felt a little grateful and bowed slightly. Thank you for eliminating the city lord Qin Hung, who has been a disaster in Luji City for a long time. Respectful voices came from all directions. Some came from gratitude for the annihilation of Qin Hung, and some came from the awe of ghosts for the extremely yang creatures. Nai Chen did not expect that the ghost city in the underworld would be so humane. But at this moment, he was more concerned about Chu Qingyu. How do you feel, wife? You haven't been eroded by ghost energy. Nai Chen leaned down and gently touched the top of Chu Qingyu's head. Of course not. Also, don't treat me like a child. Although Nai Chen's technique was very gentle and comfortable, Chu Qingyu still couldn't help feeling ashamed. After all, as a great emperor, even if she became smaller for no reason, it would be too embarrassing to be touched on the top of her head. It feels so good, how can you not rub it a few more times? However, the bully Chu Qingyu was now unable to resist, so Nai Chen increased his tactics and rubbed Chu Qingyu's soft and comfortable head again. Too much. She said she was resisting, but the numbness on her head made Chu Qingyu unable to help but enjoy it. Even his little head couldn't help but move towards Nai Chen's palm. Inadvertently, she also felt warm in her heart. As a majestic and powerful emperor, he has never been protected by others, let alone having his head rubbed like this. Only. Recalling that Nai Chen stood in front of her without any hesitation, that figure that seemed to be able to block all majesty, Chu Qingyu felt a warm current surge through her heart. She had never thought that even if she was temporarily unable to exert her strength, she would still feel such a sense of peace of mind. It's so heartwarming. What's the relationship between these two people? I seem to have heard the word wife just now. Could it be a Taoist monk? Damn, that seems a bit criminal. At this moment, looking at the scene in front of them, the ghosts onlookers couldn't help but start discussing. But only halfway through, looking at Chu Qingyu's petite and cute body, they suddenly realized the seriousness of the problem. This is too much punishment. It's simply imprisonable. Noticing the looks coming from all directions, Nai Chen suddenly realized that bullying the empress in her smaller form was very comfortable. But if I continue like this, I'm afraid I will be regarded as a pervert. Shock, the love letter was sent to the empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 335. I didn't expect that your technique is surprisingly good. When you return to the palace in the future, you can touch the empress a few more times. I don't know if it's due to the effect of my body becoming smaller. At this time, Chu Qingyu, who had always been quite arrogant and never wanted to reveal her true feelings, turned slightly red on her cheeks and couldn't help but rub Nai Chen's palm, as if she felt extremely comfortable being touched. If it were in the past, if Nai Chen could get such recognition, not only would he not refuse, but he might even slap the Empress directly on the spot. But something is obviously not right about the current situation. I still want to go back to the palace, this. It's really imprisonable. The upright onlookers couldn't help but murmur in astonishment. Although they were grateful to Nai Chen Zhen for killing Qin Hung, they clearly regarded him as some kind of criminal with special habits. He kept repeating strange words such as punishment. He is simply incapable of being imprisoned. Honey, why are you so honest at this time? Looking at Chu Qingyu's slightly red and soft cheeks, Nai Chen didn't know whether he should cry or laugh. The current empress is indeed cute, and she can even bully her without any scruples. Yes, but it is indeed quite a punishment. Wait a minute, the empress has returned to her childhood state, but there is nothing abnormal about herself. He was carrying the Suangu holy body, but Chu Qingyu's snow lotus had fallen off. In other words, it is possible. A hint of surprise suddenly appeared in Nai Chen's eyes. Could it be that the reason for this result is related to the ghost energy in the underworld? The Suangu holy body isolated the ghost energy and she was not affected. However, Chu Qingyu changed because she lost the snow lotus she wore to the underworld. If this is really the case, Nai Chen suddenly took out the snow lotus. Chu Qingyu's body was too petite at the moment, and Nai Chen had to bend down halfway to get close to her. What are you doing? Before she could shake off the warm feeling she felt when she touched her head just now, Chu Qingyu subconsciously wanted to get away when she saw Nai Chen suddenly approaching with the snow lotus. Honey, I may have a way to restore your health. At this moment, Nai Chen's voice suddenly came from his ears. Recover your body. Even Chu Qingyu couldn't believe it. When Nai Chen was fighting just now, she had tried every means to restore her petite body. But no matter whether they tried to break through the body with spiritual energy or even bit their fingers to awaken the body with blood essence, they all failed without exception. You know how painful it is to bite your fingers, and I cried because of the pain. In the end, I still couldn't change back. Is there any way to restore the body? While Chu Qingyu was doubting, Nai Chen had already stepped forward. The snow lotus in her hand exuded a cold fragrance and was inserted gently into Chu Qingyu's hair. Although his body has become smaller, his long black hair is very thick. Snowdrops are slowly inserted, and the snow-white flowers form a completely different symmetry with the black hair. A cool fragrance spread, and the holy breath of the snow lotus bathed Chu Qingyu's petite body again. In this extremely depressing underworld filled with ghostly aura, she felt an extremely comfortable atmosphere. Then, Chu Qingyu realized that the situation was slightly different. The snow lotus exudes a soft light, shrouding his petite body, and a similar feeling fills the air. Is this the emperor's body? The light twisted and transformed, and Chu Qingyu was surprised to find that her body began to slowly change in the shroud of light. A ball of light enveloped the petite body, and soon the light expanded and expanded, outlining a human shape. Completely different from the one just now, the curve outlined by the light at this moment is graceful and flawless. That graceful figure was so concave and convex that it made many ghosts stunned for a while. Some of them could not imagine how beautiful the existence would be hidden in the light. It actually works. Looking at the gradually increasing height, Nai Chen couldn't help but marvel. Especially under the outline of the light, it highlights the graceful figure that even Nai Chen didn't pay much attention to in the past. The fragrance of snowdrops floats around, giving off a sense of holiness. And among countless astonished eyes, the light finally gradually faded away, revealing the fairy-like jade-colored figure. Her eyes are like water, with a hint of coldness, her skin is like gelatin, with a few touches of pink emerging from the snow white, her green hair is dancing in the wind, her waist is slim and graceful. Her eyebrows were lightly swept, her beautiful eyes were flowing, like a fairy who could not eat the fireworks of the world, with a hint of beauty in her coldness. For a moment, these ghosts in the underworld suddenly felt as if they had traveled to the fairy world. Looking at that graceful figure, I was stunned at the same time. No one could even think of anyone else who could be worthy of such a beautiful woman. But at this time, Chu Qingyu, forgetting to see her recovered body, was slightly startled for a moment, and soon looked at Nai Chen. Ahem, what I said before was just a joke. Don't mind it. Although Chu Qingyu recovered very well, recalling that she had just bullied the Empress and even threatened her with a spanking, Nai Chen quickly coughed awkwardly and explained. However, the situation was completely beyond his expectation. The light in Chu Qingyu's eyes changed slightly, as if her eyes were wandering. He suddenly took a step forward, gently wrapped his arms around him, and hugged Nai Chen. The soft and delicate body came close to him, and he raised his eyes. There seemed to be a bit of grievance in those clear eyes. You know how to show off your talent, and you actually dare to confront the powerful emperor head-on, just in case. There is no such thing as a chance. Since I want to protect you, my wife, there is no such thing as a chance, only victory. Nai Chen smiled softly and tapped the tip of Chu Qingyu's nose. He didn't expect that the first thing Chu Qingyu would do when she returned to her body would be this. These words struck Chu Qingyu's heartstrings instantly. I was already slightly worried and resentful, but now my cheeks were even more peach blossom-like, with a trace of crimson appearing. But no matter what, I still have to punish him. It seems that he obviously feels that he is being unreasonable. The voice of these words actually sounded like a child's. Punish. Nai Chen was a little confused. Of course, just. As she spoke, Chu Qingyu revealed a trace of unconcealable shyness. But I seriously doubt whether this is a punishment or a reward for a pervert like you. Her eyes were rippling like spring water. After saying that, Chu Qingyu lightly pursed her lips and kissed her directly with the majesty of the Empress. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 336. The lips are soft and the sandalwood mouth is sweet. Especially since he had not seen Nai Chen for a long time after entering the underworld, Chu Qingyu's offensive at this moment was obviously much more intense than before. After a long time, they slowly separated. Chu Qingyu's crystal lips still had a charming silver thread. This kiss was so sweet and soft that no woman in the world could compare to it. The only problem is, honey, are you sure this is really punishment? Nai Chen couldn't help but smile. This, I really can't think of any other punishment, so. Chu Qingyu was stunned for a moment, and suddenly realized the seriousness of the problem, feeling ashamed and angry. Damn it, as expected, this is not a punishment at all for you, it's almost a reward. A good punishment turned into a reward. Chu Qingyu was ashamed and angry, and her mind was in confusion. But what other punishment could there be? She thought hard, but she couldn't think of any other good way to punish her. Bomb in the head? As a powerful emperor, one finger would most likely cause harm to Nai Chen. Spanking. This seems even less feasible. Suddenly, Chu Qingyu's originally slightly confused mind froze, and she asked in a small voice, a little shyly. Then, is the above considered punishment? Above? What above? Nai Chen was stunned for a moment, originally not understanding the meaning of the sentence at all. But when he noticed the unconcealed shyness in Chu Qingyu's expression, he suddenly felt something was wrong. Wait, is that what it means? Nai Chen's expression suddenly changed slightly. He suddenly realized that the Empress who didn't even know the meaning of playing the flute in the past had now become a girl who understood it instantly. Sometimes, he even understands it better than himself. If I said it was punishment, would you believe it? Is that really considered punishment? Hearing Nai Chen's words, Chu Qingyu's eyes instantly lit up and she raised her head in surprise. But soon, she noticed that it was completely different from what Nai Chen said. When Nai Chen spoke, it was obvious that he was quite looking forward to this up there. Thinking back to what I just said, I also thought back to the scene that was inappropriate for children in my mind. Chu Qingyu's cheeks turned red. Damn it! You almost deceived me. Sure enough, this is not a punishment at all. Somewhat embarrassed and angry, she couldn't help but murmur in a low voice, thinking about what could be considered punishment. This posture? No, this is similar to the one just now, it will only be regarded as a reward. Then take the whip and candle with you when you return to the palace. No, this will probably make Nai Chen even more excited. Whispering in a low voice, Chu Qingyu made herself blush a little. Ahem, honey, please pay attention. Although there is no one around, there are still ghosts. Seeing that the situation seemed to be getting more and more wrong, Nai Chen quickly coughed twice in embarrassment. Chu Qingyu was stunned for a moment before she realized what she was doing. I had just recovered my body, and the ghosts themselves had no sense of existence, so I completely ignored the ghosts watching near the city lord's mansion. Ahem, I have also forgotten about this matter. Let's talk about the rest later. Chu Qingyu quickly ended the topic. Yes, after all, it's not good to show affection in front of these ghost brothers. Let's talk about it later. After thinking about it, after all, those ghosts were dead, and it would be too cruel to be shown affection. Nai Chen was so kind-hearted that he stopped his affectionate and ambiguous interaction with Chu Qingyu. But this action, not only failed to have any effect, but made the ghosts in Luji City wish they could cry to death when they saw the scene in front of them. This is not called showing affection. What is showing affection? Besides, the love has been shown, the dog food has been scattered, and all the ghosts present are so full that they are going to die, so what's the point of stopping now? Or I suddenly miss my wife. Now that the yin and yang are separated, it feels so uncomfortable. You still have a wife? I've been single for 18 years and died before I even got a wife. Now I can't wait to die. It's okay if you don't have a wife who is abused when you're alive, but if you die and eat this kind of super sweet dog food, you're going to kill me. These ghosts, who originally thought that they were only souls and had no worldly desires, all looked sad and wanted to snatch the earth with their heads. They have seen some that are too extreme, but this is definitely the first time they have seen it. Even the old tea house owner was tortured for a long time before he finally recovered. With a long sigh, he almost burst into tears. But there was nothing he could do. After being tortured, Nai Chen killed the city lord Qin Hung and saved the entire Luji city. Not only him, but all the ghosts in the city need to do their best to repay this kind of kindness. The tea house owner stepped forward. Because he is older and sells tea on weekdays, he has a reputation and is respected by ghosts. Soon, the ghosts on both sides parted a path to make way for the tea house owner. Thank you very much for killing City Lord Qin Hung and Qin Zishan who chose ghosts to devour. I am here to thank you for the ghosts all over the world. The tea house owner bowed his hands respectfully, hesitated for a moment, and finally couldn't help but ask. However, there is a very strong spatial constraint between the underworld and Lanchuan continent. It will be very difficult to enter the underworld. What important things did you come to the underworld for? Can I help you? The owner of the tea house, who represents the ghosts of Luji City, said clearly that he would repay the favor. Such loyalty and gratitude made Nai Chen a little surprised at the character of the ghosts in the city. It really deserves to be called underworld style. Nai Chen nodded with satisfaction and replied. Well, we came here for something that must be solved. Just a while ago, a being in the underworld opened the space leading to Lanchuan continent. It polluted the imperial tomb with strange power, trying to control the imperial tomb and bring disaster to Lanchuan continent. Although the situation has been suppressed temporarily, it may not last long. Boss, do you know any clues about this ghost? The imperial tomb was polluted. The tea house owner was a Xianyuan realm cultivator when he was alive, so he naturally knew how important and mysterious the imperial mausoleum was. This sentence made him stunned. I never thought that such a thing would happen in the imperial mausoleum that was revered by countless cultivators. If he hadn't heard it from Nai Chen himself, he would never have believed it. After thinking for a moment, the tea house owner's face clearly revealed a bit of solemnity. We don't know who it is. After all, the underworld is much larger than Luji City. However, perhaps there is one place where we are most likely to find clues. Where? The Netherworld Dynasty. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 337. The Netherworld Dynasty. This answer is quite consistent with what Nai Chen thought. There are ghost towns and forces of all sizes in the underworld, but only the Netherworld Dynasty is the place that truly governs the underworld and controls the rebirth of all ghosts. But before you go, I have another suggestion. At this moment, the tea house owner suddenly showed some seriousness. I don't know how you entered the underworld with your living bodies, but the underworld, especially the road to the Netherworld Dynasty, is filled with extremely strong yin and ghost energy. Even if you are strong, I am afraid you will be affected. If you can't resist, you may even be in danger of your life. So I suggest that before going to the Netherworld Dynasty, it is better to bathe in the Holy Sea first. In this way, no matter how strong the ghost and yin energy are, they will not affect you. Holy Sea. This is the first time Nai Chen has heard of this name. The tea house owner nodded and explained. Yes, the Holy Sea is the most sacred ocean in the underworld. Even though the underworld is full of ghosts and evil spirits, this Holy Sea is extremely sacred. By soaking in it, you can not only eliminate all evil spirits, but also cleanse your soul and enhance your strength. For ghosts, this Holy Sea is still an extremely sacred place. If you soak in the Holy Sea, you should be able to completely avoid being disturbed by evil spirits. But the only problem is. The tea house owner paused for a moment and said, however, although the Holy Sea is an extremely holy treasure, we haven't seen it for a long time. Because just a year ago, 3 brothers named Lu were suddenly disturbed by evil spirits and turned into sex demons. Since then, they have been guarding outside the Holy Sea and never let any male ghosts enter. They are so bold that they just want to see the female ghosts bathing in the sea. Because the 3 of them have turned into sex demons, their strength is extremely powerful. So far, many nearby ghost towns have no way to deal with them. Male ghosts cannot enter, and female ghosts dare not enter the Holy Sea in front of these sex demons. So, for a whole year, no ghosts can enter the sea area. Oh! Holy Sea! Nai Chen's eyes suddenly flashed with a gleam of light. Compared to what the tea house owner said, it can cleanse the soul and remove evil spirits. He only cares about one thing. Sea. After coming to Lanchuan continent, he seems to have never seen the sea. And more important than the sea, of course. Thinking of the bikinis near the coast of Blue Star, Nai Chen suddenly felt a throbbing in his heart. You have to know that those women wearing bikinis on Blue Star are not on the same level as the Empress in terms of appearance and figure. Even if they wear bikinis, they are hot and beautiful enough to form the most beautiful scenery on the beach. If the Empress can wear a bikini. Nai Chen, who has a stable heart and is as solid as a rock, suddenly feels a surge of blood at this moment. That scene is so hard to control just thinking about it. It seems that this trip to the underworld is really the right one. But the matter in the Imperial Mausoleum is urgent. This emperor is now anxious to go to the Netherworld dynasty. Ghost aura is ghost aura. This emperor has the body of the emperor to protect him. There should be no need. At this time, Chu Qingyu looked at the tea house owner and said with a hint of coldness, "You are actually a powerful emperor." Hearing this, the tea house owner was suddenly stunned, and his eyes couldn't help revealing a trace of astonishment. He quickly looked at Chu Qingyu again, and he was obviously more awed and shocked. The majestic majesty made the tea house owner's soul tremble. He also believed Chu Qingyu's identity in an instant. Unless she was a great emperor, she would never have such majesty and strong aura. Chu Qingyu's stunning appearance like a fallen fairy made the ghosts focus on her fairy-like appearance. They never thought that this beautiful woman would be a great emperor. And after careful feeling, they all clearly found that Chu Qingyu's powerful emperor's aura, even among the great emperors, her strength must be extremely transcendent. Under this cold majesty, the tea house owner couldn't help but wipe the slightly odd sweat on his forehead. "Sorry, I was rude just now. Although the yin and ghost energy in the underworld are extremely harmful, for the great emperors, even without the help of the Holy See, they should be." The tea house owner was about to explain that perhaps the great emperors did not necessarily need the Holy See. But just when he was halfway through his words, Nai Chen suddenly stepped forward and patted him on the shoulder with a smile. "Boss, are you trying to say that the ghost energy in the underworld is extremely harmful, and even the great emperors need the help of the Holy See?" In this smile, the tea house owner always felt as if there was a hint of chill. He couldn't help but shiver, but he was a little puzzled. "No, what I want to say is that the great emperors may not need." "Are you sure?" However, before he finished speaking, Nai Chen patted his shoulder again. This time, it was obviously heavier than the last time. More importantly, the tea house owner could clearly feel the faint sense of oppression from Nai Chen. There seemed to be a trace of murderous intent in the oppressive feeling, and he was even a little breathless under the suppression. Looking at Nai Chen's smile again, the tea house owner inexplicably felt that the smile was a bit cold to the bone, and he couldn't help but feel a chill in his back. "I mean, it's..." After looking at Nai Chen and then at Chu Qingyu, the tea house owner suddenly realized. Husband and wife are of the same mind. If I say something nonsense, I'm afraid I will be embarrassed on the spot. At this moment, Nai Chen pressed his ear closely and lowered his voice. "I'm going to the beach for our honeymoon with the Empress. Boss, you should know what to say specifically." "I..." Only then did the tea house owner understand why Nai Chen interrupted him just now. "These two people, I can't offend anyone. More importantly, this is a matter for the young couple. If they really made a mistake, they would interrupt their honeymoon at the beach. I'm afraid I can't even think about the consequences." After hesitating again and again, the tea house owner finally trembled slightly and did not dare to say anything nonsense. "Okay, what I just meant was actually. Although the great emperor is powerful, the ghost energy in the underworld is too elusive. If possible, it would be better to go to the Holy See first. It's best to go together as a couple." The tea house owner replied with a sad face. "Is that really the case? Well then." Hearing this answer, Chu Qingyu could only nod seriously. "It seems that this matter cannot be rushed. We must first go to the Holy See." Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 338. Nice, good brother. The plan succeeded, and Nai Chen happily patted the tea house owner on the shoulder. "Miscellaneous breasts? What breast silk?" The tea house owner was frightened and felt relieved when he found that neither Taoist couple seemed to have any intention of blaming him. Without further ado, Nai Chen quickly and secretly called out of the system. "System, those three lustful demons have occupied the Holy See of the underworld for a long time, making it impossible for ghosts to approach. If I take care of the three of them, can I talk to you about the reward?" "Reward? What reward does the host want? The system was obviously a little confused. After all, this was the first time that Nai Chen took the initiative to discuss rewards before the system tasks were released. Of course, what I want is something that is not available in the underworld or Lanchuan continent. Nai Chen smiled subtly, hesitated for a moment, and then finally said, "The value of what I want is not high. How about just a bikini, beach volleyball, and sunscreen? This. Upon hearing this request, the system was obviously stunned. Ding, it is detected that the host has malicious intentions, and the system enters alert mode. It doesn't matter if you have bad intentions, anyway, it's just for the Empress. Besides, if you think about it carefully, the strength of the 3 sex demons is not low. If I eradicate them, I will only need to reward them with an Earth-level magic weapon. The things I want now only add up to how much money they have in Blue Star. How can they compare with the value of an Earth-level magic weapon? This." The system was obviously hesitant. It was obvious that what Nai Chen said made sense, but it made perfect sense. Compared with bikinis and the like, the value of Earth-level magic weapons is much more expensive. How about it? You have to think carefully. Such a suitable deal will not be available until the expiration date. At this time, Nai Chen's bewitching whispers sounded again. This time, the system seemed to finally be impressed. Even after another pause, the system still made a sound. Ding, okay, release system tasks at the request of the host. System mission, eradicate the 3 perverts who are causing trouble in the holy sea of the underworld. Task reward, a bikini set, a bottle of sunscreen, and a beach volleyball. Additional mission reward, a set of parasols and sun loungers. Sure. Unexpectedly, not only did he succeed in persuading the system, but the system also unexpectedly came into play and rewarded him with parasols and sun loungers. It really deserves to be your own system. Nai Chen showed a hint of excitement and looked at Chu Qingyu. Let's go, wife, without further ado, let's head to the Holy See quickly. Recalling what might have happened in the Imperial Mausoleum at this moment, Chu Qingyu nodded seriously. The location of the Holy See is right here. The tea house owner also used ghost energy to create a map and presented it to Nai Chen. According to the map, the Holy See is located outside Luji City, about 600 to 700 miles away. 600 to 700 miles is not too far for a monk. If you are a strong emperor, you can reach it in one step across the void. However, the laws of space in the underworld are severely restricted, and even Chu Qingyu can only move by the wind. I saw Nai Chen and Chu Qingyu planning to leave Luji City. Suddenly, almost everyone in Luji City started to move. Qin Hung has established an oppressive regime here for a long time, and he has harmed countless ghosts for his daughter, making the ghosts in Luji City panic. The eradication of Qin Hung and his daughter not only eliminated the biggest concern of the ghosts in the city, but also liberated the entire Luji City. Therefore, even though Nai Chen and Chu Qingyu exuded the strong yang energy of living creatures, almost all ghosts could not help but feel fear. But at this moment, the residents in the city were still solemn and grateful. Countless ghosts followed closely and slowly sent each other off until they reached the city gate before finally stopping. Looking at the 2 figures walking out of the city, the tea house owner stood at the front and leaned over slightly. Thank you both for helping me, Luji City, escape from its misery. However, can I ask for your names so that we can keep them in mind? Not only him, but other ghosts were also looking respectfully outside the city, obviously wanting to know the identities of Nai Chen and Chu Qingyu. However, the 2 did not look back. It wasn't until the 2 figures gradually moved away that Chu Qingyu's cold voice floated out. Tianyun Palace, Chu Qingyu. It was just 6 words, but when the ghosts in Luji City heard it, they couldn't show a hint of astonishment in an instant. Chu Qingyu, could she be Empress Qingyu? Although a startled voice sounded, the eyes of many ghosts suddenly changed at the same time. Although there are very few ghosts in Luji city who were monks during their lifetimes, most of them were not qualified to see the powerful emperor. But she is very clear about the 4 words Empress King Yu. Since ancient times, the practice of monks has become more and more difficult, and the emergence of powerful monks in Lanchuan continent has become slower and slower. But just a few hundred years ago, a flawless woman cut off the many rules and constraints of Lanchuan continent with a bamboo sword and built Tianyun Palace single-handedly. His powerful strength and cold temperament make countless monks stand in awe. Even many ordinary people who have never practiced cultivation have heard of this intimidating name. No one thought that Empress King Yu would actually enter the underworld in person, and no one thought the Empress actually has a Taoist partner. It seemed as if thousands of years had passed. The ghosts suddenly remembered that they clearly remembered that Empress King Yu had written the theory of the uselessness of Taoist partners and declared that she would never look for a Taoist partner. Looking back, it has only been more than 100 years since they died, and the Empress is actually so fragrant. If it weren't for the cold and majestic power of the Emperor emanating from Chu King Yu, I'm afraid that at this moment, no ghost would dare to believe that she was really Empress King Yu. After all, it was not only that they had heard Empress King Yu's oath that she would never look for a Taoist partner before they died, but also recalled the degree of affection between the two people just now. The dog food was already too much, but it was unexpected that the one who was spreading dog food was Empress King Yu. Especially in front of Nai Chen, the cold aura on the Empress seemed to melt the ice and snow. The rosy cheeks and moving eyes were completely a love-struck girl in love. Especially when it came to showing affection, the Empress was simply abusing dogs to the extreme, more excessive than anyone else. Is this really Empress King Yu? Seeing the two figures gradually going away, but showing affection and ambiguity, all the ghosts in Luji city were stunned. The Empress's words are deceiving. They never thought that they would be abused by the Empress to the point of wanting to cry after death, even though they didn't see her in their lifetime. These two people abused her all the way from Lanchuan continent to the underworld, which is simply too much. Looking at each other, the ghosts in Luji city only felt a sense of wanting to cry but no tears. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 339. The scene outside Luji city is an endless desert. Connected to the dark blue sky, the vast yellow sandland has no end in sight. Dead silence, solemnity, and tranquility. This slightly depressing atmosphere is very consistent with the characteristics of the underworld. Let's go, wife. Everyone has the responsibility to eradicate the lecherous demons who are causing chaos. I can't wait to eliminate the harm for the people and kill those 3 lechers. Nai Chen pretended to be righteous, but his expression clearly revealed a strong sense of expectation. Strange, why does this emperor feel something is wrong? Chu Qingyu gently stroked the snow lotus on his head, and his eyes clearly revealed some doubts and curiosity. After all, when did Nai Chen become so righteous and worry about the world's worries for himself? Although Nai Chen's voice seemed to reveal a bit of righteousness, it seemed obviously a bit strange. How is that possible? Don't underestimate me, my husband. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. As a cultivator of the sea-breaking realm, I must of course consider the people. Even if I am in the underworld, the kind of person who doesn't allow people to wear bikinis. Pooh, it's the pervert who doesn't allow other ghosts to bathe in the holy sea. How can I let him go easily? This kind of scourge must be eradicated. Nai Chen answered with a solemn oath, his chest puffed out, his demeanor dignified, as if he really had some awe-inspiring righteousness, the style of a gentleman. Really? Although this action and temperament are very handsome, it is completely inconsistent with the impression, and Chu Qingyu is obviously still a little skeptical. The feeling seems that things are not as simple as imagined. This time, Nai Chen seems to have other plans for bathing in the Holy See. However, What other plans can there be? After thinking carefully for a long time, Chu Qingyu couldn't think of it. At this moment, as the two gradually moved away from Luji City, the surrounding environment became obviously worse. The land was still boundless, and there were even waves of fierce sandstorms sweeping around. On the road ahead, strange beasts and demons and ghosts began to appear one after another. The environment in the underworld was not only extremely harsh, but the strength of these demons and ghosts was also extremely strong. It seemed that they had devoured a large number of souls that passed through this section. The demons were all filled with ghost energy, and there seemed to be souls wailing in their bloody mouths, in pain. There were demons and ghosts that were enough to rival the Xianyuan realm cultivators, and even ghost kings whose strength reached the Pahai realm. But these monsters, who were extremely arrogant and domineering on weekdays, never thought that it would be a living being that passed through this time. Moreover, the strength was far beyond their imagination. Under Chu Qingyu's cold sword, no matter whether it was a demon or a ghost, no matter what level of cultivation, they had no power to resist. In just one sword, the soul was scattered and completely annihilated. The golden light emanating from Nai Chen seemed to have the most fundamental restraint on ghosts. Although there were obstacles along the way, they would soon be swept away. Even if there were more monsters and ghosts, they would be powerless to resist. Having nothing to do, Nai Chen started chatting. But to be honest, you were also quite cute when you were little. Especially when you were teased. It was an accident, it was just an accident. Thinking of her embarrassing appearance in the mentality of a little girl, Chu Qingyu hurriedly tried to refute excitedly. Are you sure it was just an accident? By the way, you need Snow Lotus in the underworld to isolate the demonic energy and maintain a normal body. If you pick the Snow Lotus now, what do you think will happen? Nai Chen suddenly smiled subtly. He had been thinking about this question for a while along the way. How is it possible? Even if I pick it off, maybe this emperor will still maintain a normal figure and will not be affected anymore. Hearing this, Chu Qingyu instantly showed a trace of panic. Oh? Then why don't you pick this flower and try it? Nai Chen walked forward and stretched out his hand, as if he wanted to pick the snow lotus. However, Chu Qingyu dodged to the side like a frightened little rabbit, and hurriedly protected the snow lotus with her slender hands. Nai Chen couldn't help but smile. Wife, don't you think it won't get smaller if you pick it? Why don't you let me pick it? It shouldn't get smaller if I pick it, but, anyway, it won't work. Although she tried to move with all her strength, Chu Qingyu's dodging eyes clearly revealed a trace of panic. No, I have to pick it today and see. Nai Chen flew forward and pressed forward step by step. Damn it, absolutely not. Seeing this, Chu Qingyu, who was originally stubborn, dodged in a hurry. In the underworld, the power of space cannot be used, and Chu Qingyu can only fly away in the wind. And Nai Chen's speed is much faster than she imagined, and he can't get rid of him with the strength of the waiting realm. The two chased each other in the air one after the other. Chu Qingyu's cheeks flushed slightly, and she hurriedly protected the snow lotus on her head with her hands. If it was in Lanchuan continent, I might not be able to catch it, but in the underworld, it's not so easy for you to dodge. With a speed comparable to Chu Qingyu's, Nai Chen not only did not dodge at all, but was able to pull out his hand to attack at any time. A palm came, but Chu Qingyu dodged it with a beautiful arc. Another palm, Chu Qingyu, who was well prepared, dodged it again. After dodging twice, Chu Qingyu couldn't help but feel a little happy in her heart. She smiled triumphantly at Nai Chen and stuck out her pink tongue. Slightly, it seems that you still can't catch this emperor. 10 million sword domain. But at this moment, Nai Chen suddenly condensed a sword blade in mid-air. And stepped on a long sword with one foot, using it as a leverage point. Swoosh! In an instant, Nai Chen burst out with an unprecedented speed. This speed was so fast that even Chu Qingyu couldn't react. Already a step slower, Chu Qingyu's pretty face turned pale slightly, using all her strength to protect the snow lotus on her head, and turned around quickly. This burst of speed made her barely turn around and protect the snow lotus on her head. However, because the two burst out at a speed far beyond the ordinary at the same time, they couldn't completely control their bodies. Chu Qingyu turned around and faced Nai Chen head-on. Nai Chen couldn't control himself and grabbed it, but... So soft, is snow lotus so soft? Nai Chen pinched it twice again to confirm the feel. It was soft to the touch, as soft as cotton but not lacking in elasticity. Looking forward, Nai Chen noticed that what he grabbed was not snow lotus at all. It was, the two soft lumps on Chu Qingyu's chest. Nai Chen. The sudden situation made Chu Qingyu's cheeks blush completely. Wife, listen to my explanation, I didn't touch it on purpose, even if I did, I would touch it carefully after I went back. Hey, no, what I mean is... The offense and defense were completely reversed. This time, Chu Qingyu, who was ashamed and angry, accelerated to chase Nai Chen. In the sky, although the two figures chased each other one after the other, the scene was sweet. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 340. Living beings, how could living beings enter the underworld? Noticing two ethereal figures coming from the horizon, several female ghosts wandering near the holy sea could not help but feel fear. But when they saw the two figures, who seemed to be playing hide and seek, but more like flirting, very intimately one after the other, laughing and talking, they could not help but be attracted. Oh my God, this is too sweet. Woo, 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 although I have been in love before, I have never been in such a sweet relationship. Seeing Chu Qingyu's face like a peach blossom, although she pretended to be cold, she could not help but be amused by Nai Chen's casual words. Then she pretended to chase him in shame and anger. Such a scene made them feel even more sour. Wife, it seems we are here. At this moment, looking from the sky to the distance, Nai Chen's voice could not help but be surprised. Looking down, outside a golden beach, there is an endless sea. Moreover, the sea was not polluted at all, but was extremely clear and blue, making people feel extremely cool just by looking at it. There was a faint golden glow in the waves of the sea. The spiritual energy flowed, making people immersed in it. A gust of sea breeze blew by, cool and with a hint of the fragrance of the sea. It made people want to close their eyes and enjoy this intoxicating atmosphere. So beautiful. At this moment, even Chu Qingyu's eyes flashed with a bright light, obviously attracted by the beautiful scenery in front of her. There are very few seas in Lanchuan continent, and such a beautiful sea is even more unthinkable. Let's go, my wife, after bathing in the holy sea, we can go to the Netherworld dynasty. Nai Chen walked in front, and a barely detectable smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Chu Qingyu focused his eyes on the holy sea, and obviously did not notice this smile. Soon he nodded with a little joy and walked towards the vast golden beach. Wait, we can't pass here. But before they could get close, several female ghosts suddenly appeared and blocked the way. Although only a trace of soul remained of these female ghosts, their souls still looked like pretty girls. However, they were blocking the way with a slightly anxious look on their faces. You must not approach the holy sea. Although I don't know why living beings can enter the underworld and reach here, if you continue to go, you will definitely encounter danger. There are 3 perverted and twisted sex demons near the holy sea. They have been guarding here for a long time. For such a long time, as long as there are male ghosts approaching, these sex demons will be extremely disgusted and beat them away or even seriously injured. And once a female ghost approaches, they will find ways to make the female ghost bathe in the holy sea for them to watch. Because of this, although the holy sea has extremely strong spiritual energy and benefits, it has been unknown how long no ghost has approached here. Because the strength of the three sex demons is too strong, no ghost can beat them. As living beings, once you enter, you may be in greater danger. The three female ghosts' advice was obviously quite sincere, and their expressions were obviously a bit worried. Don't worry, three sex demons are nothing, there are bigger ones here. Ahem, no, three sex demons are nothing to take seriously. Nai Chen coughed lightly, but he didn't seem to be afraid of the words of the female ghosts. After exchanging a glance with Chu Qingyu, a stream of spiritual energy came from under his feet. The two of them jumped lightly, but Yufeng continued to fly towards the holy sea. Hey, don't underestimate their strength just because of the name of sex demons. If they are really discovered by them, the consequences will be more serious than you think. Seeing this, the female ghosts were obviously a little anxious and hurriedly tried to stop Nai Chen. However, Nai Chen and Chu Qingyu had already entered the range of the beach and were about to reach the edge of the holy sea. Even if they wanted to stop them, it was too late. Looking at each other, the three female ghosts all had some fear and astonishment in their hearts. They didn't expect that these two humans would not listen to their advice at all. If a human body enters the range of the holy sea, it will only excite the three sex demons even more. But at this moment, Nai Chen and Chu Qingyu have already landed on the beach. The sea breeze blows on their faces, cool and with the fragrance of the sea. Waves surge onto the shore one after another, soon wetting the golden beach. The azure sea flickers with a faint golden light, dazzling and exuding a sacred breath. The golden light floating with the waves seems to contain extremely pure spiritual energy. It is so rich that it seems to be enough to instantly cleanse the soul and purify the body. Just a glance can make people feel the mystery of this sea. No wonder the underworld regards the sea as a holy sea. I am afraid that even if it is placed in the Lanchuan continent, the value of the sea will only be more precious. It's so beautiful. Walking to the coast, even Chu Qingyu was attracted by this extraordinary scenery. A touch of excitement appeared in her eyes, and Chu Qingyu actually took off her embroidered shoes. Like golden lotus, the white and tender jade feet are stepping on the beach. The slender jade legs are smooth and white, and they look even more beautiful under the sea breeze. A wave surged past, gently hitting the tender jade feet. A string of crystal water drops was left behind, which was extremely dazzling and moving under the reflection of the sun. The sea breeze blew past, gently lifting the 3,000 black hair, and even the light blue skirt swayed with it. Chu Qingyu's eyes seemed to be filled with autumn waves, and she seemed to be completely attracted by the beautiful scenery of the holy sea. Another wave of waves hit, making part of her dress stick to her skin with some moisture. The snow-white skin was as flawless as a beautiful jade, and the few drops of crystal water drops that slid down made people feel a throbbing in their hearts. Nai Chen's eyes were deeply attracted, and it was actually a little difficult to divert his eyes. Beach volleyball, sunscreen, bikini, and even the extra parasol and chair. The value of these rewards is obviously far less than the worst yellow-level magic weapon, but at this moment, in Nai Chen's eyes, they are far more precious than the heaven-level magic weapon. After all, just thinking about the Empress wearing a bikini can make people feel a little bit of uncontrollable nosebleed. Damn man, who told you to invade our territory? Beauty, beauty. At this moment, several voices suddenly came from a distance. Nai Chen also showed a hint of excitement. His reward is finally coming. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, Mozuzi. Chapter 341. These three sex demons were once the three brothers of the Lu family during their lifetimes. The three brothers were scoundrels in the market and extremely greedy for beauty. Even in the end, Mi lost control of her desires and tried to rob the eldest lady of a high-ranking official's family. In the end, he was sentenced to death and died with hatred. Unexpectedly, even though these three brothers were dead, they were even more lustful and bold than before. Instead of declining at all, the lust center has expanded countless times. Under the infinite expansion of the evil spirit's lustful mind, desires arise and evolve continuously. In the end, the three brothers, who were just scoundrels in the market and had no cultivation at all, turned into sexual demons due to the continuous expansion of their lustful hearts, and were even eventually swallowed up by desire, reaching the strength of the sea-opening realm. It is precisely because of this terrifying strength that the three Lu brothers, who were just scoundrels in the market during their lifetime, were able to run rampant near the Holy See, and no one dared to compete with them. Bullying men and women, relying on the strong to bully the weak, his lust is infinitely expanded, and he has even tried to coerce female ghosts many times and let them bathe in the Holy See for his own viewing pleasure. In the distance, when they saw Chu Qingyu's stunning figure, the three Lu brothers instantly fell into madness. It's not like they haven't seen beautiful women in the underworld for so many years. But they have never seen anything so beautiful, whether in life or after death. It's so beautiful. The sea breeze blew, and the light blue skirt swayed slightly. The crystal water droplets from the sea fell on the skin as smooth as cream, sliding down slowly, outlining an even more beautiful picture. It would be difficult for anyone to look away from the attraction of this beautiful scenery, let alone the three Lu brothers who had long since turned into sex demons. Even though the might of the emperor and the aura of life faintly emanating from Chu Qingyu made them fearful, their infinitely expanding lustful heart had almost completely engulfed them. It's so beautiful. I must put her in the sea water and watch her bathe. He, after waiting for so many years, I finally encountered such a superb existence. Greedy voices echoed one after another, and the eyes of the three Lu brothers all revealed deep desire, as if they regarded Chu Qingyu as the perfect prey. Oh! Looking at the sky, Chu Qingyu's eyes instantly showed a hint of coldness. A faint chill emerged, and even the hem of her skirt fluttered gently in the cold air. The awe-inspiring imperial power is about to float out. You don't need to take action, my wife, just leave it to me. At this moment, Nai Chen suddenly stepped forward and touched Chu Qingyu's head comfortingly. As expected, the Empress's head was small, soft, and very comfortable to touch when she was a child, and now, her thick and smooth hair also feels very good. Chu Qingyu was startled for a moment, but soon lowered her head gently, her cheeks turning slightly red. The pressure and coldness that had just drifted over his body completely disappeared in an instant. There was even an undetectable sense of shame in the flowing autumn eyes. After all, as a powerful emperor, you will be protected by others. Although this feeling is a bit strange, it seems to be unexpectedly good. Ahem, so cute. Looking at Chu Qingyu's serious and gentle nod, the cold imperial power dissipated in an instant, and that lovely feeling of obedience made Nai Chen feel as if his heart suddenly beat. I don't know whether it's because the impact of turning into a little girl just now has not dissipated, or because there are no acquaintances in the underworld. The Empress who took off her disguise is just too cute. Nai Chen clenched his fists and became more motivated. Choose cute or sexy. This issue has been subject to numerous discussions. But at this moment, Nai Chen finally found the answer. Cute or sexy? I want them all. As long as the lovely Empress wears a bikini, wouldn't everything be solved? So. Nai Chen looked at the three perverts in the sky, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. How dare a man invade our territory, beat him to death. But why does this person always feel weird? Looking at Nai Chen's smile, the three Lu brothers, who had been arrogant and domineering just now, felt that there was an extremely cold chill in that smile. This chill even made them feel a tremor and fear in their hearts. After their lust and strength continued to expand, there had never been an existence in the underworld that could make them so fearful. No matter what, after all, I want to see everything a beautiful woman takes a bath. Yes, it is so beautiful. Let alone after death, even in life, I have never seen such a beauty, he 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 he. But soon, their desire swallowed up their reason. Chu Qingyu's graceful and flawless figure made the three sex demons completely obsessed, and even the fear in their hearts was completely forgotten. Suffer death. With an angry shout, they all rushed towards Nai Chen. The three ghosts continued to condense. Obviously, they were a little afraid of Nai Chen, but they did not think that Nai Chen was really qualified to fight against them. After all, their strength has already skyrocketed as their desires have gradually expanded. If their strength is gathered together, their strength will become even more terrifying. As long as we kill him, that beauty will be ours. Excited cheers echoed in the sky, and three huge bodies that were 10 times larger than normal souls shrouded down. The condensed and majestic ghost energy came to suppress Nai Chen. However, Nai Chen's pupils were covered with a layer of light golden light, and he had instantly seen the weakness of the three Lu brothers. Lust. This biggest weakness was also their fatal point. The great emperor pointed a finger. Facing the overwhelming and dense ghost energy, Nai Chen only pointed a finger. And this finger instantly touched the ghost bodies of the three brothers. In an instant, the ghost energy on their bodies surged wildly. This finger was not an attack, but turned into a huge spiritual energy and poured into their souls. Moreover, it infinitely expanded the lustful hearts of the three brothers. Expanded, expanded again. Their lustful desires had completely reached the extreme. The desire hidden in the deepest part could not be controlled and continued to expand, and gradually engulfed their hearts. Beauty, I really want to see a beauty bathing. Ah, it's so beautiful. The three sex maniacs have begun to murmur in their mouths, and their desires are rapidly expanding. But they have no idea that the rise of this desire has reached its peak. So beautiful. I want to see it so much. With greedy eyes, the three giant bodies desperately want to get close to Chu Qingyu. But just when they flew into the air, the last limit of desire has been broken. At an extremely fast speed, the three huge bodies are rapidly expanding under the backlash of desire.